Hey guys. All right, so I am turning 41 and the last year has been probably one of my best years ever. And I wanted to share the changes I've made to make my 40s my best decade ever. I have decided that my 40s, when I turn 40, is going to be my best decade ever. I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to love myself, I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to do all these things. So what began the journey was finding the empowered wife in September of 2023. And that was just a couple months or about a month before my 40th birthday. And I started doing self-care. And it's one of those things where until you really start like cognizantly thinking about self-care, you go, oh yeah, I take care of myself, or oh yeah, I do whatever, or maybe you're just like, I don't even know what self-care to do. But when you start to really think about it and put together lists and really start to practice, maybe 6 to 10 self-care a day. That's what I needed in the beginning because I was so lost. I was so unhappy. I remember last summer, my husband was like, "You're not happy." And I was like, "Oh, I'm happy, I'm fine." But I wasn't. And it was so funny because when I found Empowered Wife, like I told you, I thought my marriage was good. But the thing is, the empowered wife is not about your marriage. Your marriage, yes, like your marriage will get better and you will have intimacy that like you've never had before. But it's about you. It's about you blooming into the woman that you're meant to be. So I thought I would walk through the different buckets and kind of the ways I have improved and like spiraled up my life. Because before, my life was kind of either I was circling the mountain or I was actually like moving away from my best self. And right now I know that I'm spiraling up and that I will continue to spiral up, and I have the tools. God has given me the tools. Like he's revealed the tools to make, sorry, I don't know why I have so much like saliva right now, to make things the best they can be. So we always start with God, right? So what have I done differently with God? Well, I'm learning to trust him. I am learning and leaning in more and more to trusting our Lord, and it's through Our Lady. So just very recently, I started praying the little office, only the prime and the compline. And then right now I've actually put that aside because for October and for going up to the election, I am going to be praying more rosaries, like trying to get an entire 15 decade rosary in every day. And so I've set aside that for now to accomplish the other goal. But God is so faithful. And through Mary, like things happen and things are revealed in a beautiful, beautiful way. But besides that, I've just continued to, stay close to him. We've found this beautiful Latin Mass community. And if you guys have not been to the Latin Mass, there is so much grace. There is so, like, you can't understand it until you've experienced it. And so I just, again, encourage you, like I always do, to find a traditional Latin Mass. If you have one within an hour and a half, even 2 hours, make a trip and take your family and see what happens because it's life-changing. Okay, so number 2 is self. So we kind of touched on this before, self-care, but more than self-care, I've been using affirmations to really lean into my best self. My best self is brave. My best self is surrendered. My best self is fun and enjoys like new adventures, and it is active and physical, but also like can be quiet and meditative and just using positive words to really affirm who Laura is. And also I did a deep dive into kind of neurodivergence and what that looks like, and I was trying to figure out the ADHD thing wasn't quite hitting all the points. So I was looking into some other neurodivergence, and it's been really, I don't have any like labels and I don't need labels, but like it's been really freeing to realize that I was masking and that I was seeking after a comparison with others, literally because I didn't have an internal guide. And I was watching others and kind of thinking, okay, this is what they're doing, so then I'll do that. And now I am allowing myself to be 100% Laura, like the goofy, dorky, fun Laura that I was when I was like 8 or 9. Like she's back and I love it and I love her. And also that was the other thing is when I did renew with Coach Carol, there was a week where we were supposed to focus on like loving ourselves and like looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. And I couldn't do it. And I had to pray and I had to work through some IFS parts to get to now I can say I love Laura. Like I really do. I love who I am and I'm unapologetically me. And I'm just so much more joyful that way. Okay. And then marriage, clearly the skills make a better marriage. There's so much I could talk about in terms of marriage, but I've realized like, even like our marriage is the best it's ever been. Hands down, best it's ever been. It's better than it was before we got married. It's better than it was after we got married because not only am I trying to like embracing my true self and the self that was present when my husband fell in love with me, but I'm also like doing the things for him, like serving him in a loving way that I wasn't doing in the beginning. So, and of course, like everything is rightly ordered now. So there's so much extra grace. So things like preparing meals and loving it, and I'll get to that in a minute. Being open to affections, receiving any gift, wink, wink, that he wants to give me. And so our marriage is just so much better. And it's been so humbling. I'm going to tell you, it's a journey to humility, the empowered wife skills, and also the other lights that God has given me. And I'll do another video about some recent lights that he's given me regarding kind of the hierarchy of being under our husbands and our husbands help me. And yes, we're equal in God's eyes, but we're not at the same level as our husbands, and really embracing what that looks like, especially in 2024, has been a challenge and been a journey. The fourth thing is my relationship with my children. And the way that has spiraled up has been a lot to do with Coach Carol. So thank you, Coach Carol, for your coaching. But what it really ends up doing is having child fulfilling prophecies. So rather than focusing and letting fear take over, choosing faith and focusing on what is my desired outcome for Neil? What is my desired outcome for Chloe? And then how do I lean into that? And how do I present my best self to my children and give them the freedom? It also means stepping back and allowing my husband to parent more, right? And realizing he's going to do things differently than I do. And being okay with that and being surrendered to that. And also just trusting that my children are growing and choosing to see the positive and not focus on the negative. And that's just been so huge. My children are doing really well right now, and I'm so thankful. After children's homeschooling. Okay, so homeschooling, a year ago even, I was struggling. And I switched to Catholic schoolhouse for a while, and I was still kind of in this really place where I was like, oh, I can't with the ADHD, I just can't. And like everything was, again, just lots of automatic negative thoughts. And now I've decided to fully commit to the CMEC as it looks like for our family, not perfection, for the continuing future. I have 8 more years with Neil, including this year. And yes, and I have 5 more years with Chloe, including this year. And I'm committed to just, this is the philosophy I love. I love Charlotte Mason. I love the CMEC. I love the support they give them. I can't do every video. I can't do every meeting. I can't do every subject. But those can'ts are like, honestly, kind of a bad word in my house. I can't. But I'm choosing not to right now. I'm choosing to load my backpack, as Sarah Mackenzie says, with what's essential to me. And we're doing it. And some is better than none. And we're doing it. And it's beautiful. And my children are going to continue to flourish. And it has nothing to do with my education degree. It has nothing to do with like formal education. It has everything to do with my mindset and my commitment. So committing to something, I think, and you can bring in other things, like we're doing Story of Civilization for Neil's history because he wasn't jiving with the ancient Egypt books that the CMEC had chosen. And that's where the one-on-one and the experiment of one comes in with you and your homeschool and your family. But again, I'm spiraling up. I'm choosing to commit and to live in this decision, and then to adjust as needed for my children, but to and for myself, right? And to just walk away from perfection because it doesn't exist. And then let's see, after homeschooling, I think comes homemaking. So homemaking, there's most of it has been just this I can. And just doing a little bit of time and realizing that perfection is a joke and really wanting my children to, or wanting my home to be somewhere that others can come in at any time of day. And so just doing little things, moving the needle a little bit. One of the things I did recently that's really changed like a lot is that I wipe down my shower every day. And I learned this from the awkward mom. She was talking about all the different home like cleaning systems she's used. And she's like, the shower is the thing that just, it gets so gross. And honestly, it's one of the grossest things to me. Like the toilets, I swish and swipe Fly Lady 2 or 3 times, like every 2 or 3 days, not a big deal. But the shower, and but if you just take a microfiber cloth and wipe the shower down at the end of every time you take a shower, it never builds up. It takes 5 minutes or less. And it is like, now there's this clean shower. And it is like, it's huge because the shower is one of the dirtiest things in the house, and it has just been a life-changing little hack. So I'm looking out for those, but again, my goal is that people are comfortable in my home. That is not perfect. It's never gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna have a home that looks like a magazine. I don't have the funds for that, nor do I even want that. I want my home to be comfortable and modest and to reflect just the fact that we are a cozy, happy family. And then finally with meals, so one thing that's really been huge is fasting. Someone told me a few years ago, and I told them I didn't even like to eat. I think this was back in 2018. And they're like, try fasting and then you'll enjoy food again. And so I started fasting on Ash Wednesday and legit fasting, 18, 19, 20 hours, a day, every day. Clean fast, no cream in my coffee, no gum, sugarless gum, just water or black coffee until my window opened. And it's been life-changing. I actually feel I think it's been really good for me. I think I fixed my insulin resistance. I think my hormones are more balanced now. Of course, now I fast like a girl, right? So I do, right now, I'm in my luteal phase, and so I will not be fasting long periods of time. I'll be listening to my body and opening my window when I need to. But I'm also eating nourishing foods and things. So fasting's been huge. And then the other thing has just been, again, these mindset around the kitchen and choosing to embrace that I like being in the kitchen, that part of my vocation is in the kitchen. A big part of my vocation is in the kitchen, and that I can meal plan, I can grocery shop, I can be a frugal mom, and I can provide warm, yummy meals for my family. And there is such joy in that. And recently I went to my friend's house and I watched her prepare food, and it was so different than how I prepare food because she wasn't in a hurry. She wasn't watching the clock. She was just lovingly preparing food as long as it took. And there was no wanting to do something else. And so I think that again, that while there's self-care, as long as I'm filled up with the other things in my life that bring joy, which is totally including this now, which I just am so thankful that God brought this back, is that as long as I can be filled up in other ways, then being in the kitchen doesn't drain my bucket. It actually either keeps it neutral or sometimes it does fill it, especially when my family comes over and my friend taught me how to make pretzel bites. And so I make these gluten-free pretzel bites now, and everyone just loves them. They don't last very long. And that's such a joy. I was like, wow, especially Ryan. He just, if you give that man food and he's just and he likes it, it is just he won't stop talking about it. And so it's been really fun. That's a newer journey on this, this last year. The food thing has been kind of newer. I did love doing Marley's Spoon because it gave me a lot of confidence in the kitchen to be like, oh, this is how you prepare a steak, or this is how you prepare pork. It really isn't that hard. So I'm continuing to learn about food, but for me personally, the fasting has made opening my window and eating so much better. So as I look forward to being 41 and going into my 42nd year of life, I am just, I forgot to mention paddleboarding. Paddleboarding, so just doing new things, expressing desires, and allowing my husband to bless me with gifts. And paddleboarding is something that again, I had to change my thought. I told myself in the past, that I was weak, or that I was uncoordinated, or that other people get to do fun things like paddleboarding, but not me, because I'm just so awkward and weak. And yet I asked for it, and I took that step. I took that leap of faith for myself and my body. And now it's like the most fun thing. And no, I am not the fastest. Sometimes I'll paddleboard and my husband's like, "Are you even moving anywhere?" I'm like, "My arms are tired." So fun, so fun. And so again, challenging myself this last year to do new things. This winter, my plan is to get into rock climbing. We have a rock climbing wall, or kind of like a room at our gym here. It's all free right now. And so I'm trying to take advantage of all these things that are available to me, like medical care. Like I don't like going to the doctor, but I can change that mindset. And I can tell myself that like, I like caring for myself. I like advocating for my health. And I like getting answers. I have hearing loss, by the way. That's a whole different story, but it actually was affirming to find out that I have hearing loss. Anyway, wrapping it back up. So I'm just looking forward to the next year, because I have goals, and I just can't believe where I was a year ago and where I am now. And what I've seen is that the more I surrender to God, and the more I'm open to His voice and the movements of the Spirit in my life, the more things spiral up. So I hope this video is an encouragement. I'm happy to talk with you. I've been contemplating, making myself available for Zoom calls. I tried to do a meeting the other day, and only one person showed up, but we had a beautiful conversation. But my plan is to do that at least like twice a month or something going forward. So I would love for more people to show up. But we had a great talk about, parts and marriage and self-love and all those things. Good self-love, the love that God wants us to know, because we're our first neighbors. So anyway, if you've made it to the end, I should have you something that you could say down below if you made it to the end. So I know those of you who have stuck with me, because I know this is a longer video, but I pray that my joy has come across. If you made it to the end, tell me down below what your favorite animal is. Because for me, I've had to embrace my sloth side. I've had to really understand that slowing down is not bad. And I deserve, not in a prideful way, but I deserve, as a daughter of God, to honor my needs. And sometimes it means just laying in bed and being a little bit of a sloth. So tell me down below what your favorite animal is and why, if you've made it to the end. And you guys, I love you all. Comment down below, tell me how old you are. Tell me what ways you're spiraling up in this next year. I'm hoping to have Coach Carol on soon to interview. I would love to interview her so that you guys could know more about what she offers, because she's changed my life and I am so very thankful. Okay, talk to you guys later. Pax Christi. Bye.